Hi guys, welcome back to Logtechie Smartphone Beginner to Pro Web Design Series. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like and share this video. Welcome back guys, and in this tutorial we're going to look at CSS basic selectors. Alright, to do this, let's create a file. I'm going to go to new file to my workspace. Now that I've created the file, I'll add the HTML fundamental tags and I'll change my title to CSS basic selectors. All right, in here I'm going to have two elements, and I'll give the first element one selectors and the other one is going to have the other selectors. So let me go with H1 element. All right, if we talk about CSS selectors, is how you can select your element, your HTML element. We can select our HTML element by the name of the element direct, and also we can select our HTML element by the name of the class or an ID. All right, and for class, all we need to do is to add it to the opening tags. By giving space, you write your class and give it the name of the class. And the name of the class can be anything, but you must make it reasonable. All right, like this, I'm going to give it a class of test1, and we can style it with this name. And for the other one, I'm going to give it an ID, and I will give it an ID of test2. Okay, the other one, I'm not going to make it a heading 1. Instead, let it be a heading 2 element. All right, let's go with the first selectors. If you give a class to your element, you must use the name of the class to style it. All right, and to make this work easy, I'm going to create my CSS file separately as an external CSS. And I'll create this to the same folder there. So I'll just call this style.css. Okay, in here, let's go back to our selector.html. In our selector.html, we have a class of test1, and I want to change the color of this heading to something else. So let's go back to our style and write the name of the class. It's called test1. And this is what you must understand. If you have a class and you want to style it in your CSS file, you have to start with the word dot. Okay, like there now we are having test1. For this test1, before we can start styling it, we have to start with dot. So we're going to say dot test1. Okay. And after that, you open your parentheses. And in here, we're going to write the command that we want to be applied to it. I want to change the color, so I can say color. And once we go back there, nothing will happen because our CSS file has not been linked yet. All we have to do is to go after at the title tags, move down and link our CSS file using the link attribute. And if we try to preview this, you can see that the class has been added to it. All right. This only affects the first heading there because it's the one that is having a class of test1. And since this is a heading, anywhere we add this, since this is a class, anywhere we add the class is going to function. Like in terms of where we're having the H2 element, we can give it the same thing if we want it to change to the command. We can say something like this by giving it a class. We can say class equal test1. And if you are to preview it, you see that it's going to have the same color. That is one thing with class. If you use a class, you can add it to any element that you want to add to in your HTML. Okay, I'm going to wipe it away from this because I don't want it to be there. We're going to use another selectors for that. All right, the second selector is an ID selector. And an ID selector can be coded in your HTML using a number sign. For class, we use dot. Now, if we want to style the ID, we can give it a number sign. Number sign is hash. So you say hash before the name of the ID. Like now, we give it an ID of test2. So we say hash test2. And that is it. Open the parentheses, and here you can start giving it any style that you want to apply to it. Okay, the first style I would like to give it is a color. So I'm going to give it a color green. Back to our selectors.html, and if you are to preview, you see that it have changed based on the ID. So any element with that same ID will have the same color. So this is two basic way that we can select. This is two basics. Okay, this is two basic CSS selectors. The last one I'm going to show you in this basic course is direct tag selectors. You can select a tag directly by going to your style and write the style name and give it a color. Okay, let's say I want to change the background of my site, which is the body. Anything that's shown in the body, then maybe we want to change the background of the body. Okay, we can go to our style and say something like this. We can say body, just select the body, and we can change anything we want to change there. I can say I want to change the background. I'll say background change to let me say gray. And if we go back and preview it, you see that the background of the site have changed to gray. This one is a direct tag selector. Okay, that is direct tag selectors. In the same way, I'm going to use the direct tag selector to the other tags we are having there, which is the H2. So let's go back to our style.css, and in our style.css here, I want the H2, all H2 coming into the site to have the same color. So I can say H2 directly, then open the parentheses and say something like this. Maybe I want to change the color. I can say color blue. And if you go to the selectors and try to preview it, you see that it have changed to that color. So these are the three basic selectors we have in CSS. One is a class, the other one is an ID, and the last one is tag selectors. There are many of them, but that will not be taught in this class. Thank you.